His movements are slow and graceful, as if he's always listening to something unseen. Welcome, dear friend. Tonight, I invite you to slow down, to breathe a little softer, and to listen to a story not of sadness, but of peace. It is a story about a small cat named Oscar, a quiet soul who lived among the elderly in a nursing home by the sea. And though his paws were tiny and his meows were soft, he carried something mysterious, something almost sacred. A gift, or perhaps a calling. He could sense when someone's final chapter was about to end, so settle in. Let the noise of the day drift away, and come with me to the gentle world of Oscar, the cat who watched over hearts as they found their way home. The nursing home was an old brick building tucked beside the ocean. On quiet afternoons, the sound of waves would drift through the open windows, mingling with the scent of salt and lavender. It was a place of rest, where time seemed to move a little slower and every face carried a story. Oscar came to live there as a kitten. No one knew exactly where he came from. He simply appeared one rainy morning, drenched and shivering, meowing at the door. The nurses took him in, dried his fur, and let him stay. From that day on, he wandered the hallways like a little guardian, tail raised proudly, eyes calm and curious. At first, he was like any other cat. He'd nap on the windowsills, bat at the sunlight, or curl up in laundry baskets, still warm from the dryer. But soon, the staff began to notice something strange, something tender and unexplainable. Whenever one of the residents grew very ill, Oscar would find his way to their room. He would jump quietly onto their bed, circle once or twice, then settle right beside them. His body would press close, his purr deep and steady, a sound that felt like a lullaby. He never left their side. Not until they were gone. At first, it startled the nurses. How could he know? But after the first few times, they began to see him differently. Oscar wasn't a sign of sorrow. He was a sign of peace. When families saw him perched gently by their loved one's side, they would smile through their tears. They understood that no one was ever alone in those final moments. Oscar seemed to understand time in a way humans could not. He never hurried, never worried. He would just be there, patient, silent, full of warmth. Sometimes a hand too weak to lift would find its way to his fur. He would lean into that touch, eyes half closed, and purr louder, as if to say, "It's okay, you're safe. I'm here." There were days when Oscar sat at the foot of a bed for hours, watching the window light move slowly across the floor. When the final breath came quiet, like a sigh, he would stay just a little longer until the nurses came to close the curtains. Only then would he leave, walking silently down the hallway, his paws making no sound on the linoleum floors. Sometimes he'd stop by the door, glance back once, and flick his tail, a small farewell, almost like a blessing. The residents began to adore him. They would talk about him at dinner, calling him the little angel cat. Some even said, half smiling, "I hope Oscar visits me when it's my time." They found comfort in knowing that when the moment came, there would be a soft, furry presence, a quiet friend to guide them to rest. And in this way, Oscar became part of the rhythm of the nursing home. Birthdays were celebrated, stories were shared, seasons changed, and through it all, Oscar remained calm and watchful, a small keeper of peace. Years passed, new faces came, old friends left, but Oscar stayed. His fur grew silver around the ears, his steps a little slower. Yet still, when someone's time neared, he somehow knew. He would make his way to their bedside and keep vigil, a silent promise that they would not face their journey alone. In the soft hours of night, when the world outside was quiet and the halls were bathed in moonlight, Oscar could often be found sitting by the window. He'd look out at the stars, his tail curled neatly around him, eyes reflecting the night sky. No one knew what he was thinking, but maybe, just maybe, he was remembering all the souls he'd watched over, all the hearts he'd comforted, all the goodbyes he'd turned into gentle farewells. And though his story sounds mysterious, it isn't really about death. It's about love, about presence, about the deep, wordless understanding between two living beings in their quietest moments. Oscar didn't change the world with grand gestures. He did it with stillness, with warmth and patience, and a purr that spoke louder than words ever could. And so ends the story of Oscar the cat who knew when it was time to say goodbye. He reminds us that compassion doesn't always come with words or actions. Sometimes it is just the willingness to stay, to sit quietly beside another soul, and offer peace through simple presence. As you rest tonight, may you carry a little of Oscar's calm heart with you. May you find comfort in silence, warmth in stillness, and love in the soft spaces between words. Thank you for listening to this gentle tale. Until next time, may your dreams be kind and your heart at peace.